A woman who had just become pregnant was suddenly struck in the belly by an immortal who descended from the heavens. She thought that carrying an immortal baby would bring great blessings, but when she got home, she discovered that the hundreds of chickens they raised had all died. Her mother-in-law felt like the sky was falling, believing that they had offended Jesus. So she quickly gathered her daughter-in-law and daughter to pray to God for help. But unexpectedly, the statue of God suddenly broke apart. Her mother-in-law thought that they must have angered God, because otherwise, God wouldn't have been so upset. The younger sister-in-law, who had always looked down on this sister-in-law who had married far away, tried to convince her mother that it must be because her sister-in-law was carrying a disaster star that they had lost all their chickens. She even went to pray to God, but ended up breaking the statue in the process, and isolated her sister-in-law, so that the misfortune wouldn't rub off on her. Little did they know, the retribution came because of her son's actions. When the woman married her husband, he had sworn to the heavens that he would love only her for the rest of his life, and that if he broke his vow, he would be punished by God. But barely 6 months into the marriage, the scumbag husband secretly took a lover, and that's what brought the punishment upon their family. But the scumbag didn't suffer any retribution, and instead, the woman and child were blamed as the cause of the misfortune. From the moment the woman was considered a disaster star, her mother-in-law started treating her like a stranger, constantly distancing herself, fearing that the disaster in her belly would cause problems. The poor woman had no idea what was happening, and still worked part-time to help her sister-in-law with her tuition fees. Then one day, she suddenly heard the voice of her baby in her belly, and only then did she believe that she was carrying an immortal baby. To help her baby grow quickly, she spent all her savings on imported formula, but her sister-in-law took the formula and fed it to the dog, because she had never had such expensive formula as a child. And why should a disaster star get to drink such good milk? The woman wanted to yell at her sister-in-law, but her mother-in-law protected her, and sent her out to buy groceries, while she stayed home secretly eating watermelon with her daughter. When the woman came back from shopping, she was immediately ordered to cook for the family. After dinner, her mother-in-law gave all the shrimp meat to her daughter, and threw all the shrimp shells at the woman, claiming that pregnant women need shrimp shells for calcium, but the woman couldn't bring herself to swallow them. Her mother-in-law, however, insisted that she eat them, on the grounds of not wasting food. It was only then that the woman realized how much her mother-in-law despised her. Isolated and helpless, she called her husband to complain, but the scumbag was with his lover and didn't bother to respond. Meanwhile, the baby in her belly comforted her, promising to teach them all a lesson after being born. Just then, an out-of-control three-wheeled cart came rushing toward her. Luckily, the older brother from their village caught her in time, saving her and the baby from being hit. But this scene caused a lot of gossip. The younger sister-in-law immediately yelled that they were having an affair, and insisted that the baby in her belly was the older brother's, which led to her losing her reputation among the villagers. Her mother-in-law, not listening to her explanations, shouted at her for being shameless. Despite her mother-in-law's passionate accusations, no one believed her, because the woman was known for her good character. The younger sister-in-law kept saying she was carrying a disaster star, who had killed their chickens, and maybe next, she would kill the village's sheep too. When it came to their own interests, the villagers quickly became angry, and decided to bury the woman alive.